Welcome back to Beyond the Buzzer. No guests today. Some of the early feedback Sam and I got was we need to develop our own relationship on camera, as well as touch upon some of the things that are very important to us. So, in today's episode, we'll be speaking about the NBA, trends we're seeing in business, what we've learned so far in the podcast, as well as regional updates from the Jordanian League and the Middle Eastern leagues. But, Sam, I think it's first and foremost we start, as we said, what's going to make us different is authenticity. So, why don't you start by talking about some of the things that you've learned so far in this podcast? What's been fun, what's been rewarding, and what's been very difficult?
um, Journeys. Speaking to so many different guests, their journey. I mean, I've known most of them, but it's so inspiring to hear some of their journeys, the direction they went, the ups and downs, and the advice they gave so many of us and whoever was watching. Um, I knew going in there's going to be a lot of work, but it's been a lot of fun. I've been enjoying it. The guests been phenomenal, and I thank every guest so far that have been part of this podcast. But it's a lot of fun. I'm learning a lot, and I'm going to keep continue to doing this in hopes that we keep sharing light on so many different stories, and trying to help whoever is in sports or outside of sports that needs and advice, needs a way of how they can figure out their life and what they want to do while they're have an 8 to 5 job and they want to expand, or while they're playing sports at a younger age or older age. We just want to share light on a lot of different journeys. So I've been enjoying it. It's been a lot of fun. Working with you has been phenomenal. You've been great. And I think our energy and everything that we've been bringing to this, it's been phenomenal. I appreciate you, brother.
Got you, man. It's been fun.
Appreciate you.
What do you think you've struggled with so far? Because I know that I've had, and I can't wait to speak about it, but there's been a lot of things that have kind of hit me in the face. Like, you know what, this isn't as easy as I thought it would be.
Me being as a former basketball player and as a coach, preparation. Me being so busy and prepping for our guests, it takes a lot of time. And I think that's the toughest thing with time management, just with my everyday life that I have so much on my plate. And then now I got to prep for such a thing, and I don't want to cut any corners. I think that's the tough part.
Yeah, I would agree. I think
For you, what do you think?
Oof. I mean, the thing I've said this to a couple of friends so far. I think the toughest thing for me is now attaching value to things that I inherently hate. So, for example, like I don't have social media besides Instagram. I don't have Snapchat, TikTok, any of that. But now, technically speaking, our success is linked to likes, shares, subscriptions, and so that's one thing that's been difficult. Right, my screen time is soared.
Right.
Whether it's just
Imagine.
checking, what's going on, or actually just like bombarding our amazing team at Set Up Podcast in terms of, edit this, film this, when's this going to be ready. I've definitely been annoying them. So those are two things. And then honestly, if being fully transparent, it's like whatever is going on in the world, there can be things that really are, grinding at you deep down. But as soon as you get behind the camera, you got to have a smile on your face. And, the feedback of you guys got to have so many more episodes ready. So sometimes we're shooting 2 or 3 episodes in a day and you're tired, and maybe there are things going on in your life that don't want to make you smile all the time. So it's just about understanding that once, we get that 3, 2, 1 clap, you got to be ready to be behind the camera.
I agree. True. Definitely.
It's tough. But moving swiftly on, Sam, I saw you post quite a passionate video on Instagram about
Ooh, yeah.
an atrocious decision the Jordanian Federation made. For a lot of our listeners that aren't really involved with Jordanian basketball, shed some light into why you felt the need to speak up and exactly what happened, actually, first of all.
I mean, people that know me, I speak out for what's right, regardless who is it against. That's how my dad taught me. When the decision came, I just felt it was the incorrect decision. I want to speak on it. I felt
Walk us through it. Walk us through it.
so. I woke up the next morning and I read 3 players by the name of Zain Najdawi, Kaden Najdawi, and Amin Abu Hawas been suspended due to not playing with the national team in the Asian Games. I was kind of taken back and shocked.
Choosing to not play.
Choosing not to play after supposedly they're saying they committed to it. Granted, this is the national team, and I've said it on my video. It's an honor, it's a privilege to play for the country, to represent the country. But that does not mean you owe me. You know what I mean? This is not the military. At the end of the day, it's a basketball game, guys. And the players decided not to play for personal reasons. And if they're not personal reason, I felt the federation needed to come in and bring those players in. And whatever the reason may be, they needed to cover that up and gain the players' respect and their trust and move on. You still had a great team. This decision came while the team was doing great in the Asian games. They were undefeated. They were blowing out teams. The tournament is not as strong as we all thought it was going to be. And for you to take a crazy decision like that was, I think it was unnecessary. I think it was more of, I want to show you that I have the power kind of a thing. But there's no reason to do so. I don't really care. The only time you have the right to suspend a player if the player broke any of the contract rules. Let's say he caused a fight, he got into altercation with the coach or the management, used foul language in a way where there's no way he can come back on the team. But if a player says, I don't want to be on the team, I can't make this trip, why do you want to force him to be part of this trip? Because he might actually be a distraction to the team. I don't want you if you don't be here. So you should build a brand as a federation where you should have the players say, no, I'll make changes. I want to be part of this team for this tournament. Yes. Not the other way around, you know what I mean? Like, let's think of the condition. If the player really wanted to and felt like, yo, I can't leave them alone because they've been providing me 1, 2, 3, these conditions and give me everything I need, and I don't want to lose my spot because somebody else can swoop in and take that spot, he'll be right there. He'll be the first one on that flight. Right. But I think you're doing something wrong for him to say no. And you as a federation should be like, fine, you don't want to play? You don't have to play. We don't need you. Next man, step up. This is the national team. We're talking about the best player in the country. Any Jordanian citizen all around the world has the privilege to play on this national team. And you're telling me, because these 3 players said, I don't want to play for your program, you want to go ahead and ban them? What are you sending a message to the Jordanian Brazilian, another American Jordanian, another Jordanian? Why do I want to come? I saw how you treated those 3. So I just thought, as a professional, them being in that position, should have dealt with it in a more professional manner.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the Najawi brothers, but I know Amin quite well. I know that guy's a hooper. Right. And I know he loves to hoop. And I know he loves putting on the jersey for Jordan. So
where is Amin right now?
In
Iraq.
In Iraq.
So he got a contract.
Right.
So the reason he took this contract is because he saw Jordan League might not exist. So he's like, why would I jeopardize my future to go play in this tournament? And it wasn't a FIBA section tournament.
Let's transition actually here, because this is an important topic, right? So when we were in Dubai last week, we ran into someone who is in charge of media rights for the Wasl League, Wasl Super League.
Yes.
And he was telling us how the Jordanian teams pulled out, right? And he was saying, and it's very articulate, which is Jordanian national team is one of the best, if not the best in the region, but that doesn't translate down to the league. Correct. So as you say, Amin gets an opportunity to get paid. This is his full-time job. This is his livelihood. Right. He's going to go do that and do what's best for him.
Correct.
What's going on with the local league here?
As of right now, most likely there will not be a local league in Jordan.
At all?
At all. As of right now.
Why?
That is the word. Because there's not enough clubs to host a league. I think right now they were stuck at 3.
There were 6 last year, no?
Right now they're stuck at 3. 2 other clubs pulled out. And you're telling me you have time to go suspend players rather than resolve that issue, rather than figure out a way to make these conditions better, rather than figure out a way to make every player, every Jordanian outside of this country and in this country look up to a dream. I want to be part of this league. These are the things that goes on in this country that bothers me. People think when I speak out, I'm going against them personally. No. Has nothing to do personally. This game meant so much to me. I know what I could do with this game. I know what this game could do to a lot of lives. But the people maybe in place are not capable to building a brand, to building these leagues, to do it the correct way. And by any means, it's okay to say we need help. We need to bring some experts to figure this thing out. Not right now, we're in potential not having a league. Ahli just pulled out of Wasl League. So we're about to have a Wasl League without a Jordanian team once again. So where are these top national team players that you just showcase at the World Cup level, Asian game level?
Where they finish second. Play? Where they finish second.
They can't even play in your own country, your own league.
I've had my own experience in this league. You know how many times I've been given. I've actually had physical contracts in front of me,
right,
ready to sign, and then pulled the last second because the federation didn't want to let me play. And that's a lower case, right? I'm not actually Jordanian, but there were ways it could have happened. So it's infuriating to see players that we know are so good not even want to come back and play in the league. Amin can hoop on the international level.
Why do I want to lose him? Like when I woke up to the news, then I wake up to a post by Zain Najdawi, I decided to retire.
Isn't he the MVP last year?
MVP of the league last year. and he decides to retire because you took a random crazy decision. Is that smart? You might be out of the federation next year, but we lost a player for the next 15 years, 10 years. Really? Is that smart?
That's
So
crazy.
who's winning at the end of the day? Nobody's winning. Jordan's losing. This is bigger than who you are as a federation. This is bigger than any of us. This is all about doing the right thing so to sustain the sport for years to come. And this is why I'm so frustrated. And this is why I will always speak out for what's wrong. Because it's not even at the only men level, even at the women's level. Even I'm excuse me if I'm calling it the clown show, but what I saw with the women team was absolutely a clown show.
I mean, as much as I want to dive into it, we have our episode releasing in a couple of days from now, where Zara and Lily are going to go right into it. But I think you should also touch upon it because it's important.
I mean, some of the girls I'm already training, so I'm already seeing what's happening throughout the whole preparation. It just was not done properly. It was not done professionally. The coach that was picked was not the correct coach for this team. He had multiple issues with girls that was never addressed, and they let that slide. The day before they leave, the strength and conditioning coach that was with them for a few months decides to go with the under-16 team to a camp. And they decide to hire somebody to travel with them to the most important tournament. They expect them to win it and come in first place. Now you're telling me you're doing it the right way, but we're not going to speak on that. We get there, and you already saw all the red flags in the way he deals with girls, the way he screams, the way he doesn't know how to motivate girls. And yet you don't take action. And then you wonder why we got fourth place.
And don't forget, the coach that got them second place a couple years ago that no one expected them to, where is he?
They didn't call him back.
Absurd.
You know what I mean? And then we lose to a team that we played 4 times in Jordan, friendly games, before we flew out. And you lose to them 5 times, and there was no adjustment. I mean, I can't believe it. This is the things I'm talking about. Like, these things got to come to surface, and somebody got to be held accountable to these decisions that's been going on. We can't just not talk about them just because so-and-so is part of this federation. No, if I'm in the federation, if I'm the president, and I make these decisions,
Hold me accountable.
Hold me accountable for it.
I agree.
This is what it should be all about, because nobody's bigger than the actual sport. This sports need a team, needs to take multiple effort to build a brand, to do it right. My only issue with the basketball scene here in Jordan, they're all Mr. I know it all. And I'm sorry, they don't. And I'm sorry, I always say it's okay to seek help. We have great leagues going on in Turkey, 2-hour flight, we can seek help. Somebody consult. We got the EuroLeague, I'm sure a phone call, can somebody consult with us? How do we establish a league? NBA, phone call, can you guys please send us somebody, we'll pay you. We want to go ahead and consult with you guys. Why? Why not? Because whoever is in place not doing it right, Aboudi, we can't be. Our national team made it to the World Cup 3 times, and yet we don't have a league. How does that make sense?
It doesn't.
For people looking at it from the outside, they're probably like, ooh, this national team is dope. Literally, they know these guys have nowhere to play. Most of these guys aren't going to even have a contract this year. So this is why it's so frustrating to me. And this is why when they came out, oh, they got suspended for 1, 2, 3. Everything they said is BS, baloney. I don't buy it. I think the decision was absolutely wrong.
Well, look, I agree, right?
Yeah.
I've seen you speak about it. I've spoken to my people about it, and it's infuriating to see players of such a high caliber
Right.
unable to continue their path, especially at a time when the Middle Eastern basketball scene is booming, right? So we don't even need to mention Lebanon because everyone knows the quality of the league.
Correct.
My boys in Kuwait, the league is on fire. Okay?
I mean, they did get to a championship game and got beat bad by it.
It wasn't bad. First and foremost, we smacked Manimo 4 times that year. Secondly, we're going to win Russell this year.
Right.
But the point is, and I'll take this shit.
Okay.
But the point is, you have these leagues around the world getting better. So when I was playing in Kuwait, we were only allowed to bring foreign players. We got some good ones to international tournaments. I played in the Arab tournament in Morocco.
Okay.
Now we have foreign players in the domestic league. So you have a domestic league, you have Russell, you have the whole ecosystem of Arab basketball progressing in a really nice way.
Big time.
Taking steps forward. And where are we in Jordan? Taking steps backward.
100%.
And it's infuriating.
It is, man. Like the leagues that's going on around us. I mean, look at the Iraq League where Amin's playing right now. We already spoke about Lebanon. Egypt League is doing great. I mean, especially Ahli. Syria have a league and they have imports. Like, come on, we are Jordan. stable country. Everybody loves to be in Jordan.
It's crazy. There's this guy on Instagram that's doing all this work about leagues around the world. We have to find his name and put it up in a reel maybe.
We should. I know you're talking about.
Yeah, yes. And he's done a whole bunch of work on, if you're playing in this league, you get this salary, whatever. He's mentioned Syria, Egypt, a couple places. Nothing.
Oh, he'd probably be shocked.
Yeah, maybe so.
If he hears what's going on here.
It's crazy.
So I mean, I don't want people to think I'm just talking down about it. I'm just speaking reality. This is exactly the situation. So I'm speaking out of passion. How much I want to see a change. How much I want to be not involved. If I need to be involved, I definitely would be involved if they would like me to.
Take note.
But all I'm saying is a change gotta happen. It can't be this way because me as Sam, as the 13 owner, how can I motivate the 16-year-old kid to tell him, keep pushing through it? He's gonna tell me.
For what?
For what? Yeah. We don't even have a men's league.
Yeah.
Where am I gonna play at? Like, look at that conversation. That's reality.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? But, I'm still excited for the Western League. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think Riyadi, they signed my boy Sonny Sekakini. Mm-hmm. They're going to have an excellent team going in. I'm sure Iran will have a very good team as well. Mm-hmm. And like you said, your team, Kuwait Club, I think is going to come back strong. I think they signed the same two imports.
They did.
To bring them back.
Marcus George.
I think they're definitely going to play better. Manama, they're defending champ. I'm curious to see how they will look this year, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
So it should be fun.
I agree. And what's nice to see is that not only in the Middle East is the quality of basketball getting better, but I fundamentally believe in the NBA, both individually and from a team perspective, we are witnessing the best basketball ever.
I agree.
We have 9 teams that could win an NBA championship. 9? Don't make me list them out.
You think really 9?
Defending champ Nuggets, even though I don't really believe that they're going to go back to back.
Okay.
You have LA Lakers, any team that the greatest player of all time is on the win. Don't even give me that look. LeBron's the GOAT.
Kobe, move on.
You have the Suns, even though I don't think D-Book has it in to win a championship.
Okay.
He's got a whole team around him now.
Right.
You have the Bucks and the Celtics, which just made major trades.
Major trades.
By the way, guarantee that's an Eastern Conference Finals.
Do you think Lillard going there has a better shot winning the title than Miami?
You mean for his personal
career? Or if he would have went to Miami, he would have had a better shot.
No, I think if everyone stays fully healthy, then between the Bucks and the Heat without Lillard, the Bucks are better. I know the Heat beat them last year. I know Giannis only went down for 1 game, but I just think as a team that's won a championship, don't forget Miami have fallen short twice, albeit against great teams.
I believe that.
But so again, 5 there. Miami number 6. Even though I don't think he's got championship DNA, James Harden going back to Philly means that's 7.
Okay.
Then back to the West, you have the Clippers, obviously always a threat if Kawhi and Paul George stay healthy. Okay. And you have the Warriors.
I'm about to say, you can't forget about the Warriors.
No, if I had to guess from right now, and I feel like, saying it publicly on camera.
So the Clippers are not in your top.
I said Clippers.
Oh, you did?
But I'm saying if I had to guess right now the conference finals, I'm going to go Lakers, Warriors, and Bucks.
I can't believe it that we actually have 10 good teams in the NBA this year.
Yeah, that's not even to mention the Grizzlies, right? So the Grizzlies could be a good team that come in.
The Kings.
The Kings, I still don't believe they have playoff DNA, but again, solid team. So it's been really, I think it's so exciting. I think every sport in general.
What about you, Houston Rockets?
D-Book's going to average 30 points a game.
You guys paid him a lot of money.
Yeah, but I kind of get it, right? So he's the kind of player you love to hate until he's on your team. And I think given everything that's gone on with the Rockets, with KPJ being kind of a loose cannon, with them having a lot of young talent between Jalen Green and Jabari Jackson Jr. and Eamon Thompson and Alperen Sengun, you got a lot of young players. So to bring in Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet, although they probably overpaid them both, I think it's good moves. And don't forget, Ime Udoka is a great coach.
Very good coach.
Scandal aside, he's a great coach. So, I know there's a lot of money going around in the NBA.
Right.
Not only in the NBA, obviously. But I do think from a macro perspective, looking at the moves the Rockets made, now you have to say that team has to compete for a playing spot.
Who do you think most likely you'll like to see in the finals?
Who I'd like to see or I think I'll see?
Both. Give me who you'd like to see and who you think you'll see.
Who I think we'll see all things healthy.
All things healthy.
Lakers, Bucks. Honestly.
I like that.
I don't think the Chris Paul experiment's going to work as well in the Warriors. I think they're going to be good even if they get to the conference finals, but I think there's a reason Chris Paul's never won a ring.
Yeah.
Who I would want to see, even though I historically kind of hate them as an organization, my boy Kareem is going to hate me because his dad used to be the GM of the Celtics, but I think I'd like to see the Celtics team in the finals because I think that team they made some incredible offseason moves.
Right.
So getting Drew and Kristaps is fantastic.
Huge.
And from the West, I want to see the Lakers. Okay. If I'm not a Rockets fan, if they're not going to make the playoffs, I'm always team LeBron. So
I'm with you. I would definitely love to see the Bucks, but I would like to see them against Phoenix Suns.
I just don't.
Why do I want to see that? I love seeing when it comes down to the finals, stars.
Mm-hmm.
No, but look, if LeBron is there, Lakers there.
No, I know what you mean.
But seeing KD, Book, and Beal against Lillard
and Nurkic, that's a huge pickup.
Nurkic, I mean, that's scary finals right there. So you have big names at every night. So you're going to see great performance every night.
In terms of big names, the biggest final will probably be Suns against Celtics. Honestly.
Oh, that's huge.
Right?
Rating-wise, the biggest.
And you know the NBA is going to do what they got to do to get it happen. I don't know if we can say that on the phone.
You never know. I mean, hey, I believe in somehow, some way, sometimes sports are fixed.
Yeah. Well,
don't quote me on this, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's weird how it just worked out.
You've seen the documentaries on the NBA about the dirty refs and stuff.
Of course.
And kind of alludes to the fact that David Stern was involved. So, wrapping it up, how are you doing with business? How's life? I mean, I know you've been traveling. You came to see me in Dubai last week. We had a good time at the NBA
Man,
games.
that was phenomenal at the NBA games. We got to network a lot. We got to see a lot of former familiar faces. We had a lot of good time.
We can tell podcast guy story.
You guys got to hear the story. I'm going to let Aboudi go ahead and tell you guys the story. This was hilarious. Yeah. I was literally crying out of laughter for hours after this happened. Go ahead.
So bad. So the entire time we were at the NBA game, even just in the events around the arena, people were coming up to Sam being like, yo, Sam, great to see you. Can I get a picture? And I was just taking pictures back and forth. No one knows who I am. I prefer that. So then we're chilling. We're shooting the shit with my friend Tommy Kadumi, who also runs the
Great guy, by the way.
Great guy. He's going to love that shout out. We're chilling, watching, just catching up. And some guy walks up to Sam. And I've had a couple beers as well. So I'm like, I'm just in a good mood, bubbly, whatever. And this guy walks up, he's like, Sam, can I get a picture? I'm a big fan. So I'm thinking, here comes my role, take the camera, stay quiet. The guy looks at me and goes, podcast guy, take a picture. I'm like, what? You're gonna disrespect me like that? It's such fucking bullshit, dude. Who the fuck are you? And then he tried to get me to get in the picture. I'm like, no, fuck you. I want to be
My God, I thought he was a friend of Aboudi or his cousin Tamer. Yeah. I had no idea. He had no clue who Aboudi is. So I'm just looking at the whole situation like, yo, is he messing with him? What is going on? Till I finally realized that he actually had no idea. He actually meant it. That was so
podcast
funny.
Guy, take a picture. Yeah, well, he's never been on this fucking. No, tell me, how's business? How's life? I know this has been intense to run this. Like you said, there's been a lot of preparation, and sometimes it's like I'll come to our man for 2 days to shoot these 2 episodes. So how are you balancing that with ST13 with everything else you're doing?
It's been good. It's been a little bit overwhelming, to be honest with you. But I'm enjoying it. It's keeping me busy. I would like to have a little bit more maybe family time, I would say. Spend more time with the kids and the wifey. But other than that, business has been good. Our athletes at ST13 been doing great. We have the under 18 league going on, so I've been keeping tab on those players. They're doing great. And that's it. Now a little bit more of a down season, so now I get to watch more games of the players and dissect how they're playing and what are they doing and how I can improve them when they come back and train with me. And that's about it. And just trying to learn, around this time of the year, me and a lot of coaches in the States, we get on like a Zoom call and we share ideas, some of the things that we see, philosophies on defensive end, offensive end, and you try to just grow. I feel like in anything, if you're not growing, you're not living, I'd say. So that's everything's going on. I'm sure, I got to see you in Dubai. I saw how busy you are. I'm sure you're a lot way busier than I am because you have meetings back to back to back. So tell me more about that.
It's not a comparison game, right? It's like the work in the world of VC is some days it's a 24-hour job, some days it's a little bit lighter. So at the moment it's hectic.
Right.
To be honest, we've been making a lot of investments. We made a decision in early 2021 that we will back enablers, so companies that are enabling other companies.
Okay.
There's 2 sort of main business models per se. It's companies that attract consumers. So let's say like personal finance management app, one that you as an individual will use,
right.
Or companies that service other companies, right? Where it's like making them operate faster, more efficiently, smoother. So since we went out and made that sort of like thesis, we've now made 6 investments in the past 18 months, which for us, small team, is quite a lot. our first in Pakistan, our first in a Saudi-based company. Obviously, companies that we've invested in have already operated there, but it's our first, in a Saudi HQ company. A couple in the UAE, mostly between fintech, digital health, and software. So it's been fun. The AI wave hasn't really made its way to our region in the same sort of widespread way it's made it in the West. Obviously, people are still talking about it. I'm fundamentally a believer in that it's going to be a good thing. I believe in like a utopian future society that we will use and leverage AI to make our lives better. I think, essentially, look, if I'm going to be completely honest, like if we're already fucked, we're fucked. To be honest, because these things are sentient. These things are real. I believe that, right? So technically, they have free will because you can type into something, you can generate a response based on what it wants to revert back, and it has agency. There are now AI applications. You can say, "Go book me this trip on these dates, whatever." It'll go do all these things and prepare a trip for you. As a very basic example. Right? So technically speaking, as to what is sentient, what is living, and there's a much more articulate podcast by Stephen Bartlett and Mohammed Gaudat on this. I believe these things are already alive and well. And I believe, given the fact that they were programmed by humans and what we do, they'll be able to discern good and bad. So I don't think it's going to be a big.
When you say bad, can you elaborate a little bit more on it? Are you talking about replacing certain positions, not people, certain positions?
No, this will definitely happen, but the same way. And again, I can't take credit for this analogy. I heard it on a podcast recently. The same way people feared the calculator replacing the math teacher, or the same way people feared the internet, replacing certain jobs. It will make certain things easier, streamline them, but there will always be a way for humans to then learn and integrate and then find a better way to actually add value. So there will be dramatic changes. People will lose jobs. It's going to suck. I mean, even things that we do ourselves are going to be changed. There's a lot of things that currently require the human element that will no longer require the human element. But again, as is always the case in society, first and foremost, anytime we have a novel technology, we overestimate what it can do in 2 years and underestimate in 10. So this whole wave of ChatGPT is going to take over the world. Think about how quiet it's gotten now. True. At the same time, ChatGPT is now the most basic example of AI. Correct. Things that are substantially more comprehensive. Now, there are people that are fear-mongering, going out and saying they're going to take over and, AI is going to take this form of robotic, iRobot kind of Will Smith bullshit. Yeah, maybe. Honestly, maybe. But I'm just not going to, waste my time thinking about that. Because, again, if that's going to happen and we're fucked, then we're fucked, and I'd rather live my life chilling.
Good point. Yeah, I agree.
That's the way I'm thinking about it.
I love it, man. This is great information. It's fabulous.
So we'll see what happens in the next couple of months.
I love it. Okay.
Good. Amazing. Anything else we need to cover today?
I think that was it. I think we covered everything. We'll probably be back with them in a couple of weeks, especially after the Western League start, the NBA season start. We'll talk about everything that's going on, and then we'll go from there. Yeah,
I think the last thing I'll say is, obviously nobody wants too many cooks in the kitchen, but at the same time, we understand we're in an early stage, let's say, company, and we appreciate and we value the feedback. So a lot of the feedback Sam and I got was, you guys get behind the camera and do another episode alone. So anytime any of our, power listeners or early listeners want to come in and give us feedback, we're more than open in the comments, in our DMs, whatever you want to be. Otherwise, what they got to do.
Make sure you guys follow us on Beyond the Buzzer Pod 13 and all the podcast applications. Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. Amazing, baby.